Welcome back to the Human Nexus podcast. My name is Andrew Brazis. I am a business and marketing consultant and private chef.
Welcome back. My name is Miss Laura Machiste. I am a YouTube tarot reader, holistic massage therapist, and energy coach. And today we are talking about eclipse season. So, my first thing that I want to go into with eclipse season is that we are upcoming eclipse season of this year. Probably around the time that we get out this episode, it will be starting. And we have our first eclipse on March 13th into 14th into Virgo, the sign of Virgo. And as someone who is a Pisces, and this eclipse is falling on my birthday, and Virgo being our sister sign, which is actually my mom's sign as well, I definitely already feel the, I guess, intensity of the energy of switching up my routine, which there you go. That's why I started this whole.
Oh, you know what?
We're in the vibes. Oh my.
That's funny that you've been saying that though. I don't know why that didn't just click for me, but I've been doing the same thing as well. Is like redoing all my routines like the last 2 days. My entire like daily routine has changed. Sorry, continue.
Right. And this part wasn't recorded because we started to record this afterwards, but I literally started this podcast call with telling Andrew of changing our release routine. And now that I'm putting two together, saying this, absolutely crazy. So, eclipses are usually more of an intense time and how they like indicate it. But like in ancient times, people celebrated eclipses because they only went by the moon and the sun. So, when it did go dark during an eclipse, anciently they were kind of like, whoa, what's going on? And they like celebrated that moment. So I feel like modern astrology gets you a little bit like instills slight fear in people during eclipse seasons, which I feel like happens all the time. And whether it's like religion or spirituality, there's some type of group of people that instill fear, and then there's people that instill faith and hope. So I feel like eclipse season is kind of like the same thing of every other time in astrology. Free will, what you do and how you navigate it. And this intensity of a Virgo eclipse will probably have certain people a little bit OCD, maybe even hypercritical of self and other people as well, which I've definitely been feeling that vibe. But
Which
I'm
also
Friday, so makes sense.
Virgo is in retrograde, is it not? Or not Virgo?
Virgo,
Venus.
Venus. Yeah.
Venus is in retrograde. Yeah. And doesn't that affect Virgo somehow? Aren't those like
So
correlated?
Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
Hmm.
So it doesn't necessarily have a direct effect, but Venus in retrograde will affect the eclipse that's happening no matter what, just because that's happening during the eclipse or while the eclipse is going on. I'm not 100% sure how long Venus retrograde does last, but Venus is the ruler of Libra and Taurus. So there could be some sort of intensity for Libra and Tauruses where they are, or collectively, Venus retrograde is kind of like reflecting on how you take care of yourself and the care that you receive from other people. So you have Virgo eclipse with Venus retrograde. You have an energy of nitpicking and possible OCD connected to reflecting on your love life. So that equals possible arguments for relationships
Interesting.
or weird communication that like someone's got to like say something about. When there's like a weird vibe, but like somebody feels it, the other person feels it, but nobody's saying anything about it. This energy might amplify someone to say something.
Interesting. So probably expect not weird communications, but something coming to light, which probably aligns with full moon energy in general. So that help happening on the eclipse probably doubles down on that, I would imagine. And I think Mercury also goes retrograde this month sometime.
Oh my gosh, I feel like Mercury's always in retrograde.
Yeah.
I feel like it's never going forward for too long. I'm like, really, still?
And then there's one more cycle that it was a long cycle with Neptune that I think just ended this week or it's ending next week. It's like a 14-year, 15-year cycle, which is
Oh
kind of
wow.
big. So a lot of
Yeah.
big movements.
Well, a lot of astrologers have been honing in on March
Mm.
of 2025 for whatever reason they feel worthy. It's probably the Venus retrograde, the intensity of a Virgo eclipse, and the eclipses usually go on the axis that the North and the South node are in. So we have North and South node now in Pisces and Virgo. So the eclipses should be Pisces and Virgo. But the weird part about this month is that Pisces is not getting its chance to get an eclipse. It is at 0 degrees Aries. So it's like right about to get it, but not really. So my prediction for that time, intuitively, I feel like whatever was happening last year during eclipse season of last spring and last fall is going to have one last hurrah this month. Just
Mm.
one last thing to push the energy forward. So Virgo on a unevolved sense could be very, I guess you could say, like I said, like OCD nitpicking, and Aries on an unevolved sense could be very impulsive. So there could be a lot of that coming up in the month of March, either to yourself or to other people. But I thought it was really interesting how Pisces didn't make it for this eclipse, and it's in Aries at the end of this month. And I don't know how that's going to go over. I stay inside during Aries or Gemini events.
Really?
Oh,
And why is that?
oh my gosh, the dogs. You might gonna have to cut this part out. Hold on.
I
Because
can't.
they can hear, you can hear them?
No.
Oh.
It's like I can't now that, well, when you're talking, I can't. It's so faint. It's
Oh, okay.
very,
Okay. Oh, so I stay inside during Aries energy of planetary events and Gemini planetary events for two different reasons. One, Aries is the ruler of Mars, the planet of war. So accidents are very easy to happen during a planetary movement that has Aries with it. And I just can't handle Gemini energy. And
mm,
like I feel like since Gemini is ruled by the twins and it's two people, you're constantly split. So it's like during a Gemini moon, you may feel like, oh, I should do this, but I don't feel like it, but maybe I want. And I just say, you know what, I'm not doing it at all because I don't
mm,
want to be the in the position of I should have made a different decision. A lot of split brain moments happen during a Gemini event, and I can't deal with the split brain, so I just do the nothing because I don't want to make a decision that I end up regretting. And I'm like, well, you did think about the other side and you just didn't go for it. So I just do nothing during those times.
mm. Interesting. Yeah, I need to be more aware of that because I feel like that's kind of where I've felt the last couple of weeks is like split of like I have this thing and I'm going in this direction, but then I have this other option to go in another direction. And it's like I'm like, as you can tell by by my decision making ability right now, I don't know which one that I want to pursue.
That's a mutable sign season for you.
Yeah.
During Pisces season, Gemini season, and Virgo season, there will be the most indecision. There will be the most back and forth. There will be the most, like, especially during Pisces season, like the way you're feeling right now is how Pisces people feel all the time.
Yeah,
So,
that's frustrating.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that would be
that's
so
why
frustrating.
it could be like harder to navigate somebody ruled under a Pisces sun because it's like when we do enter Pisces season and the collective feels the duality of what a Piscean deals with, it's like, whoa, what the heck is this? I don't like
Yeah.
being in this energy. And that's why Pisces disassociate a lot because they can't handle it either. So
Mhm.
they just pull back. I do the same thing. I withdraw. I'm like, I can't deal.
Do you have any events that happened at what was it, the solar eclipse that happened last, was it solar eclipse that happened last year?
Last year during the springtime,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
during around this time, I started my business, my healing business, actually.
Oh,
That was something that I did. Yeah, that was really about it. I didn't do anything like intense or crazy. I was so busy working that I don't think I was even like paying attention to many things.
mhm.
But I was in like super strong creator mode last year of just like, how do I want to present my healing business? How do I want, what type of clients do I want? This, that, and the other. And now, a year later, back in the same season, I'm booked out a month forward and have a bunch of clients that I did want to align with and did want as my people. So I can look back and see the creation.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's a good case study, really.
Yeah. And I didn't even know that we were getting the nodes were shifting and things were moving and stuff like that. I just was
Mm,
going with the flow, which I normally do. And then when I think something's weird, then I look up the astrology and then I'm like, oh, okay, that checks out as to why I
yeah.
could be feeling this way. And then I just like move on, like not excusing it for anything that I'm feeling or doing, but just getting like evidential clarity of like, oh, that's probably not a word, but I make up words all the time. That like, oh, okay, that could be why
Mm,
the things are going this way and feeling this way. And there is usually the most disassociated, floaty, indecision energy around this time. And the fact that eclipse season comes during it is just like, and then Venus retrograde is like a trifecta.
yeah.
Is
No,
there
it's
anything that you connect to from last spring?
well, not, I guess being in the same place that I am now. It's like I had a year, and last spring I really pushed forward this new business model. And now I'm in this place of kind of reevaluating what that was and how I serve people. So it's not so much an external same place, but internally, it's like, okay, is this what I want to be doing? Is this where I'm at? Kind of thing. So I would say, yeah, like internally, yeah, like it's the same feelings of like, okay, I have all these options. Which direction do I want to spend my time on? Really?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like sitting in like the magician position. And I say this not necessarily that much in public readings, but in private readings, like
Mm,
when you are in that like creator mode where you have all the tools, you're just figuring out like what to do. That's like the biggest moment of like pushing the energy and the momentum and really going for the element of choice.
mhm,
So when I first started my healing business, I went to the element of choice of a wand. I wanted passion, I wanted excitement, I wanted people to find new vitality and things like that. Now, my focus is more of the pentacle. I want
mm,
stable clients. I want people that can afford the treatment. I want people that take it seriously. I don't want people that are just going to book because a special is happening
mhm,
and they want to come in. I want people that are going to take their healing journey seriously. So, like, at first, I treated it with the wand and then I transitioned now into the pentacle. My next element is going to be the sword, where I actually like sit on camera and like start expressing my story and like why I started certain things and like my healing business. But figuring out like what element you want to work with in this moment is going to be really beneficial.
what's that process like for you?
So I go with how I feel. So when I first opened my business, I didn't care about the
Mm,
money I made. I just wanted to gain clients. So I knew
mhm,
that that was passion energy. I knew that was wand energy. Now that I'm established, I want the pinnacle. I want the stability. I want the people that I know I will consistently see them once a month or once every 2 months or once every three
mhm,
months. And I'm not like a pusher in that sense, which
yeah.
I feel like really got people to free willingly decide that they wanted to be consistent. So, like when people leave, I tell them, do you want to rebook now or do you want to do it online? And then whatever they say, they want, oh, I'll do it online. All right, have a great day. That's it. If they want to rebook now, I always ask them for 2 months past. So if it's March, I'll say, okay, you want to do April, you want to come back in May, you want to do June. And more than I would say 50% of the time, they choose the right next month. They're like, oh, no, no, I want to come back in May, like, or in
Yeah.
April, whatever month is closest.
Mhm,
So I make it that it's their decision to be consistent. It's not
yeah.
me pushing that onto them. So I'm also like in very interchangeable. I feel like I morph constantly. So once I realized to morph more into the pentacle aspect, that's kind of I just like felt the vibration to do
Yeah.
so.
And
So
and are you like in your process, are you doing this? What am I trying to ask?
like consciously.
Yeah, are you consciously choosing like, okay, I'm going to be in wand energy for this season?
Mhm.
Or is it like it happens and you're like, oh, like you're retroactively like, oh, I was acting in that energy?
I feel like it's both
Mm,
because I did intuitively feel the need at one point in time, like, okay, I need to figure out an exclusivity to this
mm,
and either bump my prices up a little bit, or that's when I felt the pentacle energy when it first started, and then I just like honed in on it.
I see.
So I kind of feel like it changes depending on what you're doing and where you're going.
Mm,
And like, I probably have a slight advantage to that because I'm a mutable sign, but there's also a disadvantage to that because there is sometimes where it's like, all right, well, are you passionate? Are you stable? Are you expressive? Are you being loving right now? Like, what's going on? So
mm.
it could be a little bit confusing, but then it also could be of an added advantage for people who stay stuck for too long. So, yeah.
Very interesting. I think I'm going to add that to when I'm doing these like business plans because that's an interesting way to approach it because it makes a lot of sense. And I would say like I would be kind of in the same place last year. I'm like starting a new program and pushing it, and it was passion, giving things away for free, like just getting it out there. And then in the last couple of months, it's been more pinnacle energy, like, okay, well, I've done that and I've seen the results. What does stability look like in that place? Yeah, that's really interesting.
Like you can tell when somebody is like using the element of water, like the cup,
Mhm.
to put out their business. They're very vulnerable throughout their videos. They even cry
Mhm.
sometimes, or they'll cry on camera, or cry when they're telling their story, or cry with their clients, or something like that. You could tell, like, when the water element is being used. Actually, a lot of people also use the sword element,
Mhm.
where they use their expression of their story to get people to want to either believe in them or book with them or whatever. Like that's my next thing is the sword,
Mhm.
where I'm going to tell them my story of what happened to me with healing myself, and that gaining whoever it's supposed to gain from. And that's why it could be advantage and disadvantage, because if you work with all elements at a time and you don't know how to balance it, then you're confusing the universe. The universe is like, well, what does this girl want? Do they want people that are going
Mhm.
to listen to their story? Are they going to want people that are going to pay the price? Are they going to want people who is wants free shit? Because if you give out free shit for too long, then everyone's
Yeah.
just thinking that that's what they're getting from you.
Mhm.
So I did what you did. Like I started with the wand. I gave
Mhm.
away things. I was passionate. I was purposeful. And then I shifted. So,
Mhm.
but we
Yeah.
also do have strong Leo in both of our energies. So that could be
Yeah.
where the wand came from.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's like a different lens that you're like, I don't know, like navigating that with. So that's really cool. I was gonna ask something else too. Oh, birthday plans.
Right.
Are you like eclipse, full moon? Are you just like chilling? Are you doing something?
Well, because my birthday lands on this eclipse this year
Mhm.
and it's a big birthday for me, I made it a like self day. I'm not working. I'm just going to do a bunch of things for myself. I'll probably still do like recordings and stuff like that, but nothing like where I'm like bending over backwards. And
Mhm.
just like really being around friends and supportive people, not doing anything in like a low vibrational state, like the clubs and the stuffs like that. Like if it was up to me, I would order a party bus. We'll go to Chili's. We'll eat and drink real fast. We'll come back and just zen out.
Mhm.
Which is probably going to be what I do, whether I choose like an activity like bowling real fast or just a quick dinner. It's definitely going to be something that is good vibrational, low key, and
Mhm.
definitely not draining.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, because I'm curious what this month is gonna how this month is gonna fold out, just astrologically, because it's seems to be pretty crazy. I think it's like one of the most intense, or if not the most intense month of transitions in the whole year, minus maybe like October or September. It's like there's one month in the fall as well.
Yeah, actually, a while ago, not a while
Mhm.
ago, but in 2024, a lot of astrologers were talking about March of 2025, like in July of 2024.
Mhm.
So I feel like the momentum of the collective having that upcoming feeling, as well as it being here, I definitely feel like there's going to be a lot of shifts in either lives, internally, externally, all of it. And,
Do
a lot of routines are going to change.
do you have any because I've been having this and it's been for the last like 3 weeks, like this lingering feeling of change. Like something like it feels like, and it's not really like a feeling for my life, just in the general sense that like we're on the edge of something big. And I have no
Yeah.
idea what that is or what that even means, but it's like this feeling.
Yeah, so I've had a similar feeling, but the feeling that I've had recently is I've been wondering if I forgot something. Like I've been in this
Interesting.
constant wonder, like if I forgot to do something, if I forgot to pay something, if I forgot to respond to something, I forgot to do like I'm having this constant wonder of if I'm forgetting something. So that gives me an indication that there will be some type of change and split and like new world, old world, where like my intuition's kind of like, all right, well, what are you bringing with you? Like, don't forget what you're bringing with you to this change
Yeah.
and remember what you're leaving behind. So I'm not necessarily sure if it's a wondering feeling, if it's I'm supposed to continuously be releasing something or attracting something into my life, or if I just forgot to do something. But I kid you not, I had this one day and I even texted my friend. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just sitting here wondering right now. Like, I'm just really feel like I'm
Yeah,
forgetting something and I
I
don't know
did
what
that
it is."
before this. I literally sat in the sun and just stared at the wall for like a good 30 minutes. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
But I guess that would make sense. Like planetarily with the sun in Pisces, like you're gonna daydream. You're gonna have those moments where you're just staring into the nothingness. And you're like, oh
Mm.
wow, how long was I staring there like that? Like that's like my literal life. Like I
Yeah, that's
stare
crazy.
at things and I have no idea that I'm doing it, and then I snap out of it, and it's just like what was going on there.
Yeah.
So it's just a collective thing everybody's feeling right now, but it's interesting that you've been finding yourself doing that.
Yeah, and not only like have I been catching myself doing it, but I've been wanting to do it more. Like no noise, which is I usually have like something going on.
Hmm.
But just like, man, I just want to like sit and like just stare into nothing just for a
Yeah.
little bit,
Yeah.
which is kind of new. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad you're feeling like that because I feel like that all the time. And then during Pisces season, it's
Mhm.
like amplified times 10. So like you can
Yeah.
understand, like I've been like disassociating, and then like 5 days later, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to respond back to this person, or oh crap, I gotta do this or do that. And then I'm like, okay, I'm like 7 days behind because I was just staring at the wall for 3 hours at one of these days. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to snap
It's
out
so
of it.
weird. I wanted to say if anybody watching this has similar experiences, please share that in the comments because that'll be fun to see like what people are going through.
Yeah, if anybody else is finding themselves just staring at the wall as well during Pisces
Yeah.
season and just totally disassociating with
Like
reality.
more than normal, I guess.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. But it should be very interesting, honestly, to see how this eclipse season is going to go. I really can't think about it right now of how long it's going to last, but I just know that it's going to be an interesting time. And everybody, just stay happy, stay healthy, stay grounded, follow your intuition. If you feel the need to do something or don't do something, like follow that.
Mhm.
And yeah, it should be. We don't get to see it over here this year. I think last year we got to see something, but I don't think right now in the northern hemisphere we're going to see the darkness of either of these two. But, you know, if any of you do get to see it, that'd be awesome as well. Any last words for our eclipse season people?
Stay safe out there and be careful with your energy, I would say.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
agree.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening. See you next time.
Bye.